This is Melcher Moore with Teton County Jackson News, and I'm here with Elaina Wronko with Turning Point. Is it Turning Point, Wyoming? Or?
Turning Point Club Update. Community Hub.
Turning Point Club Update.
Yeah.
Community Hub. I think it's interesting that the last time we spoke, we should put it out there.
Yeah.
We spoke because you formed this group because of Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Absolutely, yeah.
You and I met and decided to do this interview, and then like 2 days later there was an assassination attempt on the president.
Yeah.
So I think it's fitting for this to come full round. Go ahead and tell us what was your experience with forming Turning Point? I know the community is excited.
So I would say it was definitely a bold attempt to start this club in a very liberal community, which is totally fine. I respect all viewpoints. But it was definitely hard because only 10% of the youth are very educated on politics, so it's hard to get a good, solid group for forming a political group. So it definitely was a tough task forming the club, but it was definitely worth it, and I just got so much joy from getting to educate people on politics, and I was like, you know what, this is my passion, this is my thing, this is what I'm good at. And I did see kids' faces brighten up, and they're like, wow, I didn't know this about politics. I didn't know I had this right. I didn't know I had this freedom of speech. I didn't know I could use my voice in this way. And it was really cool empowering them in a way they never knew they had. But unfortunately, because of the location of Turning Point, the Gateway Church, aspect, we didn't have great attendance, and it had a linear decline, or is that how you word it? Linear decline.
Yeah, fewer and fewer people were attending.
Yeah.
I think it takes a lot of work to gather people.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so I also did my best, to gather people, do flyers, do social media posts, but unfortunately it just wasn't gaining traction, which is totally fine, and I'm honestly not discouraged because I know I have a knack for, teaching people, their political rights and the constitutional freedoms they have. And I also think it would have, started better if we did it at the high school where there's kids and students already there, because a lot of, high school students don't have transportation, and we noticed that was one of the issues that we were having was transportation, and we couldn't have a big team of people, picking kids up and dropping them off. And some parents just didn't have time to drop their kids off because these are young kids. They don't have a license, and they have homework. It just didn't kick off. But I'm definitely not discouraged because I had so much support doing this, and it was a blast. And I know how to start a chapter now, and hopefully I am moving to Virginia this fall, and I'm going to start a community or a college chapter at my college, Regent University, because I just think I had so much fun. It was a blast, and I'm honestly not discouraged. It didn't start off. And I met so many amazing people. I felt so encouraged. And honestly, it was a good lesson for me because I realized, wow, this political community really cares about, lifting the youth off into politics. And it encouraged me because it's there is hope, And made great connections, and I'm definitely going to try again. And also, it was hard to start a community chapter when everyone on my team was mostly seniors. So they're leaving out soon, and no one was really solid. And so I was like, okay, I may need a team where, we're going to be committing long term. And so I definitely learned lessons, but it was a blast, and I am still going to continue my journey on educating.
This was your first time creating some sort of chapter or group.
First time.
You learned the steps. Obviously, it would have been better if you knew how to do it your freshman year of high school.
Yes.
Go in and build it up 4 years and then leave it in somebody's hands. But didn't you said that you passed the torch on to someone here in the community?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so if I can't start this club in the high school, because obviously I am no longer going to the high school, I was going to pass it down to Walter Stradley, but obviously he owns a business with mowing lawns and everything, so I might pass it down to one of my friends, Grace Tibbetts, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, it'll be a learning curve. It might be, I don't know if you could pass it on to an adult that could handle the corporate documents and stuff so that it has a more, a foundation that doesn't move, an adult that has a house here.
Yeah.
And is kind of running it. But is there a reason why you did it at the church rather than the school?
Yeah. So, sorry. But I did it at the church just because, I know the place very well, and I have access to equipment. So whiteboards where I can write down all the little rules and regulations I want for, discussion. And then also I'm familiar with the TV and the technology. compared to the high school. And also, if I did the club at the high school, we would only have a 30-minute period for lunch to, initiate the club. And I personally don't think that'd be enough to, really embed what the discussion was that day.
And there are like 4 high schools here in the community, so like a central point like the church was a good place.
Yeah.
If they could have gotten here. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's just a learning curve. Let's update the community a little bit on your journey with school.
With school, that is a fun road. So I went to 2 schools this year. I went to the high school and I went to Classical Academy, both fabulous schools. But I had a revelation. I was like, oh my goodness, I could learn so much if I just decided to read books. And I really wanted hands-on education where I was really involved in what I was interested in. So let's just say I love, the political field. I get to go to all these political meetings, county commissioner meetings, and get to debate and discuss my viewpoints. And I feel like I can make myself a better curriculum if I just, kind of did my own thing. So I do online classes at the community college here. I do government, English, and philosophy, and then I just read a whole lot of books. But honestly, I feel like this is, I love to learn. That's my favorite thing to do. Huge learner. Whenever I have a free time, I wake up at like 6 a.m. and study all the way to like midnight. I love learning. And so I feel like me being able to, drop out and do my own thing kind of gives me more freedom and leniency. And this summer I am planning on having an internship with Harriet Hageman in DC, and we're going to get to work on policy issues, and I'll get to join some of her committees, subcommittees, and, get to discuss with her and really, be involved in policy, and I think that would just be a dream come true. And this fall I'm going to go to Regent University in Virginia and study pre-law and politics.
I think that's great that this summer you're going to get to synthesize some of your reading and see it play out.
Absolutely.
And you'll be around people with more experience. So this type of group that you were doing, I don't know how many people you had to fall back on to like advise you.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to see older people doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I'm very excited. Again, it's very hands-on. I'll be really involved. But I think Turning Point was just a fabulous experience, and it just really taught me how to really, initiate a club and just be a leader and try to teach other people how to be a leader. And I think for this, particular situation, it was location, and that's what set us back. So next time I, want to do a club, I'm going to really look at all the variables and see how I can make them as solid as I can.
Yeah, well, that's great. I think this is a good. I think the community wanted to know an update on what Elaina had been doing. There was a lot of
Confusion.
attention around what you were doing. Everybody was excited that you sort of took the bat and swung.
Yeah. And I personally think doing a community hub was probably the best thing I could have done just because of the 4 high schools. And I really wanted to make sure all the schools were, getting involved into this chapter. And I feel like, trying to be the best option for all the high schools actually was the setback because of the location. So we learned. But it was a blast. And I'm definitely going to be doing clubs, and chapters like this in the future. And this is just the beginning.
Well, this is great. Hopefully we get an update from you in a year when
Absolutely.
you come back. You've got my number, and you can let me know when you're here, and we'll do another interview about your experience in Virginia.
Absolutely. I'll have a lot to share. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.